Hey everybody, welcome to Spikey Saturday number 285 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got a new set. We've got Strixhaven here. We're gonna have a lot of rares and such here. We've got a rare lesson. Unfortunately, it's unplayable in extremely narrow situations, maybe. We've got a Silver Quill command. Our lesson is Cultivate. My current lesson of this format is very much like Kaldheim. You look at this row, and because there's so many cards in this row, maybe this card as well, and you ignore everything else here. You ignore everything else. The power disparity is huge. Silver Quill command. What does this one do? +3/+3 flying until end of turn. Sorcery speed, very important. Little thing to the battlefield. Draw a card, lose life, sack a creature. All of those things are very good. Very happy first picking a Silver Quill command here. This lesson is awful. This card's not amazing. It's also not bad. Cultivate is Cultivate. Deadly Brew's pretty good. In the commons, yeah, you don't want to be picking any of these very highly at all. And there's a couple of duels that are nice, but we'll take Silver Quill command. So far, doing pretty good in this set. I've got like a 73% win rate over 6 drafts. And I'm hoping to keep that going. First takes are that you absolutely pick learn cards, as I said in my set reviews. You pick learn cards highly, and then you take lessons. If you take lessons early, you're not going to have a sideboard. You're going to be stocked up on cards and possibly no way to find them, etc. Anyways, this pack is bad. This is not a card I want. This is a bad card. This card's fine and not remotely going with our first pick, but not good enough to switch. Ditto. There's a Spiteful Squad here, which is okay, but again, just a drop below what we could have had in the uncommon slots. Guiding Voice is also actually pretty dang good. But Spiteful Squad is great. It goes right into what we want with Silver Quill. This card's been wheeling, and if we wheel it, I'm going to be pretty happy. Silver Quill is fairly aggro. Tendrils of Agony, eh? I don't think we're really going to be pulling that off. So I'm thinking we just take the Expel here. Removal has been okay in this format. It's not been like Kaldheim, where I just got to a point where I didn't want removal at all. But I also haven't really super needed it either. If you watched the Twitch stream, I played Silver Quill. It had 19 creatures in it and 1 Expel, and that was it. And we 3-0. Overgrown Arch, also incredibly good in Witherbloom specifically, assuming you get stuff to go with it like Blood Researcher here. I don't know that I need jump into Silver Quill or Witherbloom for the Blood Researcher or the Overgrown Arch. I think I'm happy to just stick on Silver Quill for the moment. If Elocution comes back, that would probably go in pretty nicely. And yeah, we're just not gonna, we're not gonna storm off. That's not gonna be a thing that happens really. So yeah, I think we take the Expel. There is something to be said about taking the Arch, but let's just take the Expel. Next pack, it starts to feel like Ravnica. That's been one of my takeaways of this format, is this format is absolutely just Ravnica. It has all of the issues that Ravnica has. That issue being we're looking like we want to be Silver Quill, and here's a pack where we don't really have pick 4 cards. We have a Leech Fanatic, I guess. And if we wanted to take something better, like Decisive Denial is probably the best card here by quite a ways, we have to absolutely throw away every single pick we've taken, which is not great. There's a Pest Summoning as well, which we could play. I think we just take the Leech Fanatic. Let's take the Leech Fanatic. Let's go low drop aggro. I think Combat Professor coming is very good. This is a very good common. And there's not much else here. There's a Bayou Groff, which can work if you get specific cards in a specific order. Lash of Malice is also pretty decent, but I want Combat Professor if we're going to go aggro-ish here. Arrogant Poet is very nice in this deck. 2/1 flyer. I have to pay 2 life. Oh no. Like, we're both paying 2 life. I'm paying it, and you're getting dealt it. Yeah, so I'll happily take the Arrogant Poet here. I'd also take the Eager First Year. It's not great, but I think the Poet is a decent piece of the puzzle for Silver Quill. There's a Professor's Warning here, or a Show of Confidence. I don't think Show of Confidence is very good at all. Professor's Warning is, it's fine. It does the thing that it needs to do. It does a very good Snakeskin Veil imitation. Again, another Groff, but let's take the Warning. So we get a Spirit Summoning, Defend the Campus, or a spirit. So the spirit's actually been okay in this deck. It wears counters really well. The ability also lets you fly your Leech Fanatic or whatever else is on the ground. And so I think I might actually take it here. We don't have any learned cards yet, so I'm not going over the moon for a spirit summoning. Defend the Campus is a sideboard card, really. So yeah, let's take the Stonerise Spirit. So here we can take a Witherbloom Campus just in case we want to splash green, or we could take an Unwilling Ingredient. I guess we take the Unwilling Ingredient. This Deadly Brew shouldn't still be here. This card's pretty good. Yes, you have to sacrifice a creature, but if you sacrifice a creature, you get a creature back, probably a better one. But yeah, let's take the Unwilling Ingredient. So I'd probably prefer to not have any more 4-drops unless they are powerful. Essence Infusion works in this deck pretty dang well as well. Promising Dusk Mage is also a card that I would play. What's our creature count right now? 6 out of 9 cards. I will take the Essence Infusion. Yes, I'll take the Essence Infusion. So Elocution came back. It's not great, but depending on how wide we go, it can be fine. Campus Guide is not what we want. So Elocution's the only pick. Whether or not it makes the deck, we'll have to see. Fracture is a sideboard card for cards that you're probably not going to see. There's no artifacts to care about in this set. There's no non-rare enchantments to care about, and there's no non-mythic planeswalkers to care about. So I think we just take another Stonerise Spirit here. Here we can hate out a Groff, I guess. That card shouldn't be third last pick. Eager First Year came back. Cool. And a Karok. All right. Pack 2, we get a Sedgemoor Witch. What are you? You're a 3/2 for 3 with Menace and Ward. That's all good. And Magecraft to make a Pest? I don't mind that. There's an Umbral Juke as well, which is very good. And there's a Rise of Extus, which is fine. And there's also an Inkling Summoning, which is totally solid. Very important to remember, we have no learn yet. We have absolutely no learn yet. But I'm going to take the rare. Like, if you can play the rare, take the rare. That has been my experience with the format so far. It's a little balmy. Getting past Alien and Light Scribe says that we're in the exact right deck here. So we're not going to want to be playing 19 creatures like I did on that video that I uploaded on Thursday or Friday or whenever that went up. But yeah, this card's pretty decent. There's a Combat Professor here as well, and a Spiteful Squad, but again, take the rare. If the rare is for you, take the rare. Sitting on 10 creatures out of 15 cards. How many instant sorceries? I guess everything else would be instant sorceries, right? Yeah, 5. So here we're looking at a Blooming Defiance or a Mage Hunter's Onslaught. Again, removal has been better in this format. It's still not amazing, especially not sorcery speed. The whenever a creature blocks the turn its controller loses 1 life is not that amazing. This combat trick would actually rather fit in our deck, but I think we'll take our first and maybe only removal at 4 mana and above. I would play an Extus, a Rise of Extus, though. But yeah, let's take that Mage Hunter's Onslaught. And I don't think we're going to play this Exhilarating Elocution. I would like more 2s and 3s. I want to be pretty dang aggro with this deck. And I guess I should also grab my Silver Wolf Scarf to represent my guild. Sorry, school. Devastating Mastery is a card. Oh, damn, this pack's actually amazing. We've got a Dueling Coach. We've got a Tenured Inkcaster. So obviously the aggro deck is not super interested in a 6-mana Wrath. It's a very good card. But I think we just want the Tenured Inkcaster. Because now we've got like our build around uncommon of really caring about counters. That gives a counter. This gives... Oh, that does not give counters. This gives counters. I guess that gives counters. This gives counters and has counters. So we're gonna value counter cards just a little bit more highly now. This pack's also amazing for us. We've got a Professor of Symbology, but we have no lesson cards yet. Normally I would take that. I would take that very highly, pack 1. But here I almost want the Thunderous Orator, just because he's going to have flying a lot and maybe lifelink and other stuff. There's another Poet. There's another Essence Infusion that I would play, but let's take the Orator here. Another Combat Professor? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Let's get rid of the Elocution. Because again, I don't want too many 4-drops. I'd also want this Arrogant Poet. The Pledge Mage would also be fine, but let's take that Combat Professor. A third one? This Lumimancer's bad. We don't want that. Okay, we're taking another Combat Professor. This is too many 4-drops, though. I don't want this many. No more 4-drops. There's a Pillar Drop Rescuer, which we could maybe play. We could also play an Access Tunnel. Access Tunnel has some reach at the end of the game. We have no learn cards yet for the Spirit Summoning. I think I'm going to take the Access Tunnel. Another Stonerise Spirit is okay. It's not great. But we still have a whole pack left. We're going to probably... I need not this many 4-drops, but these are all very good 4-drops. Hey, the Blossoming Defense came back. As did this, just in case we want to splash green. And let's take the Beaming Defiant. Beaming Defiance, not Blossoming Defense at all. It's like Blossoming Defense, though. Is it exactly Blossoming Defense? Was Blossoming Defense +2/+2 and hexproof? Yes, it's literally Blossoming Defense, except it costs 2 instead of 1. Huh. Hey, Promising Duskmage came back, and there's our deck, and we have a whole pack of polishing to do. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Another Arrogant Poet. That can come in and we can get rid of one of these spirits. Another Poet. And we can get rid of, I think, another one of these spirits. A Lumimancer, I'm still not going to play. Not even last pick. Yep. Here is what I mean about this being a Ravnica set. We are silver. We are obviously Silver Quill. This pack has deeply mediocre cards for us to pick. And this is pick 1 of pack 3. I don't think I want a Crushing Disappointment. I don't think I want another Expel. I don't want an Ageless Guardian. I don't want a Show of Confidence. So we're just going to take a land and have decent mana. And that's why Ravnica sets are bad for draft formats. Again, another pack. The rare was taken, so this is the pack for us, and it's not good. Mage Hunter's Onslaught's the best card in the pack, but again, I don't want more 4-drops at all, especially not sorcery speed removal. So we'll take it, but it's not what I'm looking for. Yes, there's a Village Rites. No, I don't have any interest in playing Village Rites. Well, we get a rare black-white duel, but there's also a Shadewing Laureate, and we want a Shadewing Laureate. A flyer that will potentially get a bunch of counters, because we have flyers kicking around, a lot of flyers kicking around. So that's going to be a great pickup for us. We get a Defiant Strike, which is not the worst. There's another Poet. There's another Essence Infusion. I think I want the Essence Infusion. We can cut the Unwilling Ingredient. It's not needed. And yeah, we'll take our second Essence Infusion. 26, 25, 24. We're going to want one more cut. There's nothing here that I want. So I'm just going to... Also, these cards being one color on the front and one color on the back are going to wreck me. Because did I remember that this was a white card in the back? No. Luckily, the white card is absolute garbage. But we'll take this for set collection, I guess. We get a Silver Quill Pledge Mage. Is that going to replace anything? It might. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Um, we get the Inkling summoning, but we literally did not get a single learn card. So that is not a card for us to take. We've got a Silver Quill Apprentice. We've got a Lash of Malice. We've got a Leech Fanatic. Interestingly, I think the Leech Fanatic's just better. Like, I don't understand how this is the Apprentice of Silver Quill. It's a 2/2 for 2 that might become a 3/2. This is a 2/2 for 2 with lifelink. There's also a Divine Gambit. I'm going to take the Divine Gambit. We got another promising Dusk Mage. There's an Eye Twitch, so here's finally a learn card. And actually that might work because we can rummage. It's a flyer. It's a flyer that'll die, which will pump that up. It's a flyer that can give him flying. It can wear counters. So yeah, let's pick up an Eye Twitch. Nothing I want here. We can take a crushing, or let's just take the rare. Let's go rare shopping. Nothing I want here. We could take this just in case we find out that we're not super aggro. Hey, a Guiding Voice. Nice and late, too. Yeah, we'll put a Guiding Voice in our deck. Again, it'll be a rummaging lesson and nothing else. Another Arrogant Poet? Sure. Okay, we got to make some cuts. We got to make a lot of cuts here. What is going to go? Another Beaming Defiance. We'll take this uncommon, I guess. Well, I do believe our deck was open. So we'll have to see what we can do here. We need 6 cuts. Jeez. I guess Divine Gambit can go in the sideboard. If we see things that are truly scary, it can easily come in. If you think this card's bad, you didn't play Kaldheim. It's exceptionally good and limited. I guess we can take out our last Stonerise Spirit. They're not terribly important with all those poets. We'll see. What's not being cut? We're not cutting the Inkcaster. We're not cutting any of the Professors. We're not cutting the Silver Quill Command. Highly doubt we're cutting the Onslaught. Highly doubt we're cutting any of the Spiteful Squads. We're not cutting that. We're not cutting that. We are probably not cutting that. We are definitely not cutting that. And we're not cutting some number of poets and essence infusions. Let's cut. What's our creature count? 20? Let's cut an Eager First Year. Let's cut a Poet. Let's cut a Stonerise Spirit. We're down to 17 creatures now. Let's cut an Expel. God, I wish there was... Why is there not a sort by CMC? Why do I have to like leave the screen and go back to resort by CMC? That is probably just way too many 4-drops. So I think we want to cut a Spiteful Squad. It's a very good card, but I think we want to cut one. Puts us down to 16 creatures. And then what? Still looking at that Expel. Or maybe Mage Hunter's Onslaught. Mage Hunter's Onslaught is basically Expel, but sorcery speed, more expensive, harder to cast. In the rare situation that I need to kill something that is untapped in order to get in at sorcery speed, sure, it's better. But let's maybe cut that. I think I like the look of this deck. A little bit more black than white. 8, 9, 7, 8. So 9, 8 plus an Access Tunnel. So Access Tunnel, what are you getting in? You're getting in a lot of my stuff. And how much does it cost? It costs 3. I guess that is later game, but I think it should be fine. So let's take this in and let's see how it goes. All right, let's go and aggro. So yeah, I've got 2 3-0s. Out of 6 drafts, I've got 2 3-0s, 3 2-1s, and 1 1-2. Hilariously, that 73% win rate still has me at 0 net gems. This seems fine. We can keep this. We'll find a white source at some point. Now we've got 2 playables on 3. Poet on 2, we're going to get aggro, which is nice. I mentioned this on my stream, and I'm not sure how loud the audio is for you. I think I keep the audio relatively low for the game anyways. It sounds like the main menu mouse over... Is it quests? There's some sound from the main menu that sounds as if it's been attached to every single sound effect. And it's very strange and confusing and different. And I don't like it. So they've got a tome shredder, so they're going full on lore hold over here. So because we have so many poets, I'm actually super willing to trade here. This doesn't have first strike, right? It does not. So I'm super willing to trade so that I don't have to take 2. And if they just let it through, that's cool. And then we can drop a 3-2 menace and go from there. Still going to have to find that white source. Still going to have to find that white source. We also are just threatening 5 damage here with our access tunnel. We access tunnel Sedgemoor, assuming they have a second blocker down. We fly this, we take 2, they take 5. I would rather just establish the board, and I would strongly rather just find a white source and play my Shadewing Laureate. Tap land is what I like to see. That's going to stop the curve out just a little bit. So Ward, pay 3 life. So she's going to deal 3. Kind of anyway. Which is why I really like that owl that I had hoped we'd get back around. A 3/3 flyer with Ward pay 3 life means that it's doing its 3 damage almost guaranteed somehow. It's almost like a flicked. Thrilling Discovery, going to gain a couple of life. Okay, so they're back up to 20. Discard 2 cards, draw 3. Sure. So they're going to be able to start fueling up their Tome Shredder, although they're going to have to discard real cards, or I guess less than stellar real cards. I think I've seen people talking up Study Break. It's just pressure point, and it's not good. All right, so this should give us really decent attacks here. So let's come on and slam. And we will pay the 2 life for the Arrogant Poet, because they could just eat it with the Tome Shredder. They could turn that into a 3/3. So take action. They'll take 5. And we'll drop a Dusk Mage and pass the turn. Still going to have to find white somewhere, somehow. If we don't find white, if we, like, worst thing in the world, we top deck a swamp, we're still getting in for 4. Or sorry, 5. We would not access tunnel that. We would access tunnel that. So that would take them to 10. We would go to 16. Looking at the Sedgemoor Witch again. Looks like they're going to continue to think about whether or not they want to take 3 or take 3. God, that feels like a flicked. They're gonna pay 3 to steal it. That's a decision you can make. I'll take 8. They think they're the aggro deck. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be 8. Yeah, I mean, you're not the aggro deck. I'm the aggro deck, and will not pay for that. So drop them to 5. They're on virtual 2 with the access tunnel. Actually, they're just dead with the access tunnel if they don't somehow kill the witch or the poet or present like a flying blocker. And we've got Professor's Warning to keep whatever we want alive. And we never drew white. They don't even know what color we are. We could be Witherbloom for all they know. Right? We're going to make pests. We're definitely a Witherbloom deck, right? This is where they just cast another one of these and somehow kill me, right? But that is a good lesson. Never, ever, 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 ever cast a threaten if it's not winning you the game. I'll take 3. I'll take 5. You got to do 5 more. I'll take 7. You got to do 3 more. You did not do 3 more. Oh god, they have a lightning helix in hand. Are we going to die to a virtual mythic? Okay. Attack. Decline. Die. Cool. Had a minor terrifying moment there where I thought they were going to lightning helix me. I've been lightning helixed twice, which hurts because that is rarer than a rare. Okay, so we don't know much. Their lore hold. It looks like they're heavy spell lore hold. They played a creature the whole game. Which means we just kill them, right? Yeah, we just kill them. Like if they miss their creatures, you don't have a deck, and that's the issue. That's the issue I was saying during the set review, and that's the issue that I'll keep saying probably the entire format. Like every non-creature matters format, the enchantment matters sets of Theros, the other ones, the instants and sorceries matter of Strixhaven. We're playing limited. Creatures matter. Instants and sorceries matter more than normal. You're probably going to play less creatures than normal. You still win every single game of limited with creatures. So be careful. Be careful. Be very careful. But this should be a decent matchup for us, I would think. If we found white, I think that would have been an even less close match. We would have had that Leonin Light Scribe down, potentially on 2. Our Professor's Warning would have been +1/+1 to the team, ++1/+1 to whatever we put the counter on. Oh well. Oh well. Opponent has sideboarded. Let's see what they've sideboarded into. Show me 2 colors. 2 colors. Black and white. Black and white. A 2-drop. One of our only removal spells. Our only removal spell. And then if we find lands. Oh, and they're putting me on the play? Oh, no. Yeah, if we hit lands, we have a curve. Boy, howdy do we have a curve. They have mulliganed. Perhaps they should mull again. Doesn't look like they're mulliganing. Or perhaps they're thinking very hard about mulliganing. Nope, no mulligan. So we're going to go Leech Fanatic, barring something better off the top. That is arguable. Assuming we hit a land or something, what's better as our 3-drop, the Fanatic or the Poet? This will get in for sure, although if they drop a 2-drop creature, it becomes a race. This may not get in for sure. Let's go for the Poet. If they miss a creature here, we get to go off to the races pretty hard. Will they miss a color? Detention Vortex? Sure. Ever so slightly slows me down. And we're going to curve. Boy, howdy, we're going to curve. Now, is this sorcery only? It's sorcery only, so it has to be my turn? Sure. Sure thing, Areno. Some people have said this is basically Time Walk. Some people in my Discord, named Sidian, are wrong. Divine Gambit my Sedgemoor Witch? Yeah, sure, I'll play a Tenured Inkcaster. You got it. You got it. That is not where you use Divine Gambit. That is not remotely where you use Divine Gambit. Yeah, let's drop a Combat Professor. We'll hit the Inkcaster, and we go on in. You use Divine Gambit on like turn 6 or turn 7. You use Divine Gambit on an absolute must-be-answered card. Because they paid 2 mana and a card to take 3 and give me a better creature. And that's pretty good by me. So they've got a Flame Scroll Celebrant, Detention Vortex. Sure. I'll get rid of it, I guess. Oh no, I take a damage. And then we will pump up the bird and get in for 6. Take him to 5. Got Professor's Warning to protect from any sort of non-detention vortex removal. And also to just super represent lethal next turn, because Professor's Warning on the Combat Professor attack would be instantly 2, they'd be at 3, and then... okay. Okay. You are dead. You are dead, friendo. So it's Professor's Warning with a counter on the Professor. And they're dead in the air. They're super dead in the air now. And yeah, let's just get rid of this Detention Vortex. And this is why Detention Vortex is horrendously bad. Don't play the card. And we'll pump up the Inkcaster. Force them to make decisions here. So they're going to go to 3, and they're taking 3 in the air. We're going to go up to 21. Okay, sure. And there you go. Super grindy format Strixhaven. 1-0. 1-0. Let's go back in. Let's see if we can go 2-0. I wouldn't mind another 3-0. That would feel pretty good. 3 3-0s out of 7 drafts? That would be a good start. That would give me some credibility, right? And credibility is what I crave. Funky butt loving. All right. That's bad. That is... If that was a swamp, I would ever so slightly consider it, but no. That'll work. That'll work. We can get rid of the... the Inkcaster is pretty dang good, but we just want to go aggro. So we're going to go... It'll depend on what they play, whether we go Orator or Poet. No 1-drop, cool. No 2-drop, cool. They're into 3 colors already. Let's go with the Orator. Sledge Mage, I would super willingly trade that. They're not going to, I would imagine. And do we want to curve out or do we want a Poet? The combat professor is going to give this flying already. I think we go with the poet. Yeah, we'll go poet into professor. So the following turn is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to take 5 to our 2. And neither of our creatures are going to tap, because this one has vigilance naturally, and this will give this one vigilance. Heated debate my order? Sure. You can hit me for 3? Sure, no blocks. Essence infusion, that's cute. That's cute. That'll be for later. Combat professor, pump that up, get in for 3. Do not pay 2. And so now we're representing 5 a turn in the air. Plus we'll make it 7 this coming turn. They're going to tap down my bird. That's fine. And they're going to come in for 3. That's also fine. So what we'll do is we will Essence Infusion our Poet to make it a 4/3. And it's got lifelink this turn. Make it a 5/3. Smash in. Don't pay. We'll get all of our life back. And we could drop a Dusk Mage. Last Essence Infusion should do a bit of work here. So they're facing some variety of 7 in the air. Could make it 9 with the Essence Infusion. And they're just going to pass the turn. So we're not going to Essence Infusion here. We're going to ask them to tell me kind of what you're doing. And we'll just spread the love. We'll make this a 3/3 so that it can trade with the Pledge Mage. We'll attack in with team, and we'll pay our 2. So this is 9 coming in, 6 of it in the air. They're going to bounce my Poet. Okay. So we're just going to double Poet. They're going to take 2, go to 8, and we're going to lose our Dusk Mage. Good turn, but still pretty fine. Environmental Sciences, I don't super care about. Let's drop the Poet. Let's drop another Poet. So this is going to be 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're threatening lethal in the air. Didn't cast their Environmental Sciences to get a land. That's interesting. So what are they? Do we know yet? Looking like maybe Prismari, but maybe the heated debate was, no, looks like Prismari. So they're going to show me a 2/4 in the air. So what can we do here? We've got a lot of counters going. And learn, unfortunately, the sideboard doesn't work because Arena's development team is probably vastly understaffed and cannot do their job. We should be able to look at our sideboard, but if I remember correctly, we have literally no lessons. So they've got a 2/2 and a 2/4 in the air. So we could go Combat Professor and make it a 2/3, a 3/4, a 4/5, a 5/6. We could make it a 6/6 lifelinking flyer this turn. We could also make one of these poets pretty large. So we could make this a 3/4, but then it just bumps into the Maelstrom Muse. What if we Essence Infusion this and we make it a 4/5 and we Guiding Voice this and pump that? Yeah, let's do that. So Essence Infusion, the Professor. Guiding Voice, a Poet. Oh, right, we have Mercurial Transformation. Decline. And then we make this, I guess it just trades with the Trickster, eh? It would just trade with the Trickster. It would just trade with the Trickster. I think I'm okay trading it with the Trickster. So then we go in. Yeah, just those two. And we don't have to pay life because they're both flying anyways. So in for 8, they have to block 1. They're going to block the poet. So we take them to 4. We go to 17. Combat Professor is looking pretty good to get in, but they do have a big old hand over there. So we're going to have to not draw lands, which you know how that goes, don't you? You know how that goes. Oh, wouldn't mind my Professor's Warning. Or my Bloss Blue Beaming Defiance. The upside is we do have a great attack with this Arrogant Poet in the air, because they have to block the Professor. So we would take them to 2. Environmental Sciences, Pledge Mage will be a 5/5. They're going to go to 6. They go and find an island. So they are, yeah, they look Prismari splashing a heated debate. Or no, if they're Prismari. No, I don't know what they're splashing for with the green. They're splashing for the green. Maybe this is just in here to be a tapped scry island. So we'll take 6. I'm totally fine taking 6. That is a land that is powerfully unfortunate. So we'll come in with this 5/5. They are probably forced to block. I guess if they have removal in hand, we're dead. Or we're not dead, because the Professor has Vigilance. But this is going to come down to the wire. This basically needed to desperately not be a land. And it was. Down to 1. I'd really like to close this out. But I will say so far this format has felt like, 99% of modern limited Magic, where it's pretty snowbally. It's pretty swingy. I think that's just how Magic's going to be these days. Okay, so they're coming in for 6. I don't think you're going to do another 5 to me, so I'll take it. Because we've got... Okay, another Combat Professor, eh? All right. Tell me if you have an instant speed effect. They do have an instant speed effect. Well, I guess the campus is also their instant speed effect, eh? So we can give both pumps to the Arrogant Poet and attack with both. I'm not going to pay the 2 just because they're forced to block both. Okay, maybe they had nothing. Maybe it was just the Quandrix campus. They had a practical research. Okay. And now if they've found removal, we're dead. Maybe I should have paid the 2. Maybe I should have just paid the 2. I played a bit too cautious there, perhaps. Kill the Professor, die? Kill the Professor, die. Gross. Gross. Came down to the wire. Maybe I should have just paid the 2. Was that an instant or a sorcery? That's a sorcery, right? Yeah. So how many cards... Arena, just show me how many freaking cards they had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they had 5 cards. They discarded a Tome Shredder and a Soothsayer. Maybe I should have just paid the 2. Maybe I should have just paid the 2. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so what do we do? Not much, I don't think. I've found in this format that you don't really have sideboards. I think that's partly lessons taking up sideboard slots, but obviously we don't have lessons here. But I just haven't found much. Like, this is my 7th draft, and I haven't found the sideboard. I don't think I've ever sideboarded a card. Ever. um, I guess we could try to go even faster. Like, get another Arrogant Poet in and take out, like, maybe the Dusk Mage. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. But that was close. That came down to that one turn. I really wish I could have seen their hand. I think this is one of the things that I desperately miss about Paper Magic, is just being like, oh, hey, opponent, should I have done this? What did you have in your hand? Oh, well, I had this. It's like, oh, okay. Because then you learn the format faster, right? That's not keepable. That does nothing until turn 4 if we find a land. That sucks. That really sucks. That's fractionally better. But that mull probably just cost us a 10% chance to win. Soothsayer Adept. Okay. Let's fly to the air. Drop another one. So we're now threatening 5 a turn on turn 4. Mentor's Guidance? Sure. Draw all your cards. Draw all your cards. So we're taking 4, but they're taking 5. That's a race we can win. So they scried and drew. No attacks. They probably should have attacked there. So Combat Professor, +1. Attack with all. Pay 2 life. Take 5. So this is 2, 4, 6, 7. So they've got a 2-turn clock here. Access Tunnel will even let us through. That's a pass of the turn. Let's get the Laureate down now just so that she can get some counters. Heated Debate, sure thing. And let's get in for 4. I'll take 4, you take 4. So that's 2, 4, 6. They're going to go to 3 this coming turn. Top deck Essence Infusion would be awesome. Guiding Voice would be really nice. Get a counter and rummage away that swamp. Maelstrom Muse. Okay, so that's going to put a slight stop to us. The Tenured Inkcaster is a help, but it's not the help we most desperately want, eh? So what we can do is we could attack with all, make the Shadewing Laureate unblockable. So they're going to take 4 and go to 5. We're going to lose an Arrogant Poet, and Shadewing Laureate's going to get a counter. And then next turn we could drop Tenured Inkcaster, put a counter on the other poet. And then they're going to take 2 right away. So they're going to go to 3. Yeah, I think I like that. So let's go Access Tunnel, Shadewing Laureate. Attack with Team. Yeah, I want them to both fly. So they'll eat 1. Take 4. We'll get a counter on the Laureate. Oh, it's creature I control? That's cool. Yeah, let's pop it on the Laureate. So then Inkcaster will go on the Poet. It's going to come down to the wire. Going to come down to the wire. But I mean, that's how aggro decks go, right? Again, just grabbing something like a guiding voice would be awesome. In for 2, they're going to make something cheaper. You got it. Don't kill the Laureate. They killed the Laureate. Pretty good. Frost Trickster, really good. And we flood. Yay. Yay. Let's jam it on the Inkcaster. Yeah, we needed to not flood there. And we die. Came down to the wire. But shockingly, their uncommons were better than our one uncommon. Or our 2, I suppose. All right, 1-1. Let's go to match 3. Let's go to match 3. Prismari, I think, is a fantastic deck. I think it's going to be very heavily overdrafted for a little bit, though. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have a sneaking suspicion that 17 lands is going to ruin limited for me. Because people think it's a secret. 17 lands says that this deck is the best deck, therefore I'm always going to draft that best deck. And it may not be the best deck, it's just people are currently winning with it. And so now everybody goes for it. It's like the limited resources effect. It's like the podcast effect, but massively amplified. Because a lot of people will say like, oh, well, sure, limited resources said that, but that's their opinion. Whereas with data, people are like, the data is true. Data is always true. And the trick, of course, is people misinterpret the data. So this should be a very good start. We've got an Orator who's going to have Menace on turn 3. And a Menace Vigilance seems pretty good. And then if we luck out and top deck a 2-drop, oh, and they missed a land too? Cool. Yeah, we're going to go Sedgemoor. And I think we're gonna hammer this one shut. I think that might be game. If this is a missed land drop, that's probably game. Not a missed land drop. They should be taking another 5 here, though, unless they can drop 2 creatures. And so I think we'll go Shadewing Laureate just to use more mana. But again, if we do top deck another 2-drop, we'll just drop down 2 2-drops. Dropping down 2 2-drops into a Tenured Inkcaster would be very good. They're going to cultivate. Okay, so they're going to fix all the land issues. So we may still have a game. They're going to show me a swamp and a plains. Okay. Well, I think Combat Professor is the better curve out here. In we go. We should have given that to Sedgemoor Witch so that she was Vigilance, but that's fine. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coming in, 9 with the Inkcaster. And we'll put the counter on the Sedgemoor Witch just to further encourage them having to pay 3 to deal with the Sedgemoor Witch. I think. A Shield Mage? That's intriguing. That's intriguing. Well, perhaps we put it on the Orator instead. And then we Professor itself. So we've got 9 coming in, and they have to block in the air. So yeah, let's go Inkcaster on the Orator, Professor on itself. In, Drain. They're going to have to choose one of these to kill. I think it's the Professor. Yep, that's what they go for. They're going to take 6, go to 5. They're at a virtual 4, thanks to the counter. Blood Researcher, sure thing. Second creature to block the Menace. Yep, you got it. Well, Professor's going to help shut this door. So, we are going to Give this +1 in vigilance, and we're going to slam in with team. So they're going to go to 6. They could double block the Sedgemoor, or they could block singularly on the Inkcaster. Note they have to double block the Sedgemoor Witch or die, which means we get to get rid of the Blood Researcher, so it's not going to grow anymore. And they're, oh wait, are they? No, they're dead anyways. I can do combat math. All right, so they're Witherbloom slash. Is that a splash? Looks like they're Witherbloom. They're doing Witherbloom stuff. So I assume the white is for more than just a shield mage. But yeah, I think we just go back in, and that's how the deck works. That's how Silver Quill works, in fact. I wish the Silver Quill Apprentice... Actually, are all the apprentices just mage, like Theros Heroic, but Magecraft? There's so many cards in this format. I did a set review. Now, I don't remember what they all do. No, they're not all just the heroic thing. That's just the Silver Quill one. The Silver Quill one, like, even though it's the aggro deck, I feel like it should do something different. I guess its target creature gets +1/+0, but I feel like it should do something different. It should put counters on something or something. This works for me. Wish we had a 3-drop, but this works. Was that a Maul? 1, 2, 3. No, that was not a Maul. So we'll go Order on 2. We'll hope for a 3-drop. Leech Fanatic, sure thing. Hey, look at that, a 3-drop. I think I'd actually trade this Orator off for that Fanatic if they come in. Because them gaining life is not what we need right now. Not remotely what we need right now. You betcha. Easy block. Easy block, although that felt like they had a combat trick. If they have a combat trick, cool. Let's get it out of their hand. Show me big play. Fortifying dropped. Sure. They gained some life, but they cost themselves a card, and they still have a 2/2 that now can't attack him to my 2/3. So they gained 2 life, and they gave +2/+2, and then gained 4. They're at 26. It's a pretty high life total. We can come back. Blood Researcher, that is a must get rid of. Must get rid of. So we'll Combat Professor, pump up the Dusk Mage, and swing in for 3. I suspect they'll just take it. There's no way they're double blocking, right? There we go. If we got rid of the Blood Researcher right there, that would have been great. And then we'll Tenured Inkcaster, and we'll do the old Let's Not Flood dance. All right, so we're going to both lose 2, and they're going to draw 2 cards. And that's their turn? Sure. Tap land for turn? Sure thing. And that'll be a pass of the turn, I believe. Maybe? Yeah, all right. They're going to send the Leech Fanatic into its doom just to get a counter on the Researcher? Sold. Sold. Super sold. Super sold. Enjoy your counter. Ooh, a Shadewing Laureate. All right, let's go Access Tunnel. And then let's go Inkcaster. Counter on the Dusk Mage. Yeah, we're not going to block with the Combat Professor, so let's send in the Dusk Mage. Drain him for 1, send in 6, drop him to 16. So we can drop a Laureate after this. We do need to finish them, because the more mana they have, the bigger, scarier things come out, like a Demogoth Woe Eater. At least that's not going to be around forever, but we do need to make sure that we keep like a land in hand. +2/+2 and Hexproof is cute. This would be a 4/4, it would be a 6/6. It would kill the Woe Eater, but I don't think that's worth it. So we will just Combat Professor itself. This is big, it's tall, but it does not have reach. So we'll get in for 3. We'll drop a Laureate, which unfortunately turns off the Beaming Defiance, but that's fine. That's fine. They're going to sack their blood researcher, I assume. Nope, they're going to sack itself. Okay, so we're going to discard our land. They're going to gain 2, get a counter on the blood researcher. This is all fine. This is all fine because our 3/4 can be access tunneled. Can be access tunneled while keeping up beaming defiance. So we're actually threatening 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to sack something? That's fine. We'll sack the Incaster. So they're going to sack their pet and bring back their Woe Eater. So we do need to finish this game now. Like right now. So we'll have to see if they realize that they're not blocking. They don't quite realize they're not blocking. So if we access tunnel, we can get in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and take them to 8. We would take 9 on the crackback. They would have 3 mana left with the Woe Eater, and we would have a Beaming Defiance up to stop any potential removal. They would then die on the next crackback. So that is what we're going to do. So we are going to say that this can't be blocked. We're going to go to combat. We're going to pump it up. And we're going to slam in. Take them to 8. They, barring gaining life, are dead. Woe Eater is not going to save them. It's going to have to be something else other than the Woe Eater. And that was an instantaneous pass, which says to me they don't have an instant in hand. So they are, as far as I can tell, dead. Go to combat, pump, attack. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1 ain't too shabby. But yeah, that's what you can do in the Instants and Sorceries Matter format. You can just play aggro creatures and run people over who are trying to cast big stuff. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm liking the format yet or not. We're only 7 drafts in. Like I said, it is Ravnica. It is Ravnica. You have 5 decks. Yeah, you can splash a card or 2, but you have 5 decks. You don't even have 5 color support. I know people are doing 5 color stuff a little bit, but there's no Gates deck. There's no support for doing 5 color stuff. It does seem pretty people get pissed if I say balmy. There's a large power differential between the rares and uncommons and the rest of the stuff in the format, the commons. And that is going to lead to swingy stuff. We'll see how the format shakes out. There's obviously a lot of time before we're going on to the next format, since this is this is how Magic works these days. This set isn't out, like, in the real world for another week. And there's already decisions being made on the format. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Currently, it's a new format, and so I'm enjoying it because it's a new format. We'll see if it's one of those rare Ravnica formats that I enjoy, or if it's one of the far more common Ravnica-style formats that I can't stand. Currently, though, being successful. So, could be worse. Anyways, let me know how your Strixhaven's going in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Make sure you go check me out on Twitch. We're trying to make a push to make the Twitch channel relevant again. Yeah, Patreon, all those places. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know anything you want to let me know. And I'll see y'all next time.